My name is Adi, and just like you, I am on planet Earth to support this epic process of planetary transformation. With the transformation that takes place in the Earth, the transformation also takes place inside our consciousness, in our bodies, in our DNA, and it is happening right now. It really started in 2019, and then 2020 we received so many different activations from so many different sources, and they continue to happen. How we perceive them doesn't matter. If we experience them consciously, it doesn't matter. But of course, it's good to be always aligned with what's happening, and we can do that mainly through meditation, but also by communing with nature and aligning our being with that which is divine, and that is nature. We have been living in a very distorted reality that really was kind of like a war. We always had two sides. We had likes and dislikes. We thought about good and bad. We thought about good and evil. And we had a lot of judgments about our reality. We had a lot of judgments about each other, and we had a lot of judgments about ourselves. And so this is something that was really hypnotized into us, and we all played that game. And this is thousands and maybe many more years. It's many more. And so we had these two groups, at least two or many more, that always found reason why not to like each other, why to fight, why to have war. And it's quite amazing how many enemies, we've had, our ancestors had, our humanity had, just being the enemy of each other. Now, normally we would think that obviously evil is evil and we should fight it, or evil is evil and we should get rid of it. Now, Divine Mother has been explaining this story a little bit differently. When she appeared to me first fully in 2017 during the night of the solar eclipse, which was a very specific moment in time and space, because solar eclipse is really all about light and darkness. Now, she appeared in the middle of the night as this infinite light, and the infinite light was speaking to me and giving me information about this game of life. It was indescribable. It was not something I could translate into simple words, but the message was basically that there is only oneness, and that there is no evil as we know it, that there is no darkness as we know it, and that all is light, and when all is light, all is well, and that it doesn't require any effort, and that to achieve the most perfect state of cosmic consciousness, one has to become completely nothing. And she invited me to step into nothingness more and more, until one day, as I was working with her, I merged into what I would call first nothingness, being able to die, being fearless in complete Christ consciousness, just being so empty that I could explode into everythingness. And then I realized through this exercise that she put me through quite often actually, is that when we completely give up every opinion we have about everything, every piece of knowledge, every idea we've had, every judgment we have, when we really silence ourselves, and the self really is not the true self, so when we silence the self, which has attachments, like, when I first went through the exercise, I had an attachment to my daughter, because I didn't want to experience this spiritual death just in case. But she kind of pushed me little by little until I was willing to do that. And so when all attachments are gone, when all self is gone, we experience the truth of oneness of the entire cosmic creation. And that is the ultimate download we can get, is when we expand consciousness to be cosmic, and to have no separation within it, and to be just one body. So like our body doesn't think like my arm needs to fight the other arm, which is what happens in this world. In the field of cosmos, there is no such thing. And so source is a level of creation we can also have access to. And also that doesn't seem realistic to most of us when people say they speak with source or speak with God. But when we meet Source, there is such an encounter, just like there is an encounter with Divine Mother in her cosmic body. So Source reveals perfection of creation to us, even more so, or equally so. When I really was face to face with Source, I realized that Source is just pure radiance, and that all those zillions of beings in all of creation are recipients of Source light. Now, everybody receives depending on their own willingness to open up. And the way to open up is to be truly in love with life. And there is no faking it, because there is a center in our core that is energetic, and that is our energetic heart. It is the cosmic heart. It's not a physical heart. It's not a chakra. There is a center that all beings have in creation. They have a higher mind center connecting them to Source, through which Source flows. And then that life force flows into the heart center. And from there it gets transmitted freely to all. Now that's how creation really normally should work. It is the complete giving of the self. It is all for the service of all, for the love of all. And so on planet Earth, what happened as we started to play this game of good and bad, we got caught up in the game so much that we first of all started to believe, of course, that we are completely separate from each other. But also it created this constantly swinging pendulum of good and bad on planet Earth. And that's why the creation of this dream within a dream within a dream became so confusing, and actually it's just what we are in right now. So every time we try to create good by trying to negate bad, we created more bad in trying to create good. Every time we really wanted to be beautiful by not wanting to be ugly, then we created more ugliness. Every time we wanted to be really healthy because we didn't want to be sick, we created more sickness. And so this was a process of really misaligned duality. Duality in itself is not bad at all. It just creates like two brushes of a painter, light and dark. But here it became an opposition and dislike. And so whatever creation came from opposition, dislike, preference, then it created the opposite of itself. And so the pendulum kept constantly swinging. And of course, by saying, I want to be just conscious so that I am not unconscious, we would create more unconsciousness. If we said, I want to be conscious so that I don't have to be like those people who are unconscious, we created more unconsciousness. And so we just got stuck in what Divine Mother calls the loop of creation. And when you think of the two loops, like, infinity symbol, so if you put light in one and dark in the other, then when beings create constantly from this actually like and dislike consciousness, they always create the opposite of what they are creating. Now that creates problems. And it created so much pressure on us, so much suffering, but we were the ones creating it more and more, deeper and deeper. And of course, the more you go into this illusion, the more painful it gets. And so how do we get out of it? Divine Mother showed me that we all are really the same light. We all are the rainbow light. And so when she looks at us, when Source looks at us, all Source sees is rainbow light moving. And that's all. And some a little brighter, some a little dimmer, but no one is ever lost. There are beings who can disconnect from the flow of life, but eventually they all open up. And so from the perspective of Source, all is well. From the perspective of Divine Mother, all is well. We all are perfect souls. We all are beautiful lights. And we are playing this game. We are in like a novel. This is like a theater play. And, it's very dramatic. We kill each other. We cheat on each other. We lie to each other. We betray each other. All of that. It's very dramatic and very painful, but we are actors in this game. And we, the light ones, are in the game as much as the dark ones. And we are playing and playing. Everybody serves the game of Divine Mother. If we think of something as bad as demons, demons are part of the game too. Everyone's part of the same game here. Now this game goes on and on and on, exhausting all the life force, creating so much confusion. Even the demons think that they are dark and they think that they need to fight us, and we think that we are light, we need to fight them. But the game is coming to an end. This is the grand finale. We all will be standing on the stage and we all will hug and come into oneness. And that will be the end of the eon. It will be the beginning of a new age. And that is the biggest transformation. The realization that no one actually was truly evil. Now, how is this going to come about? It's going to come about in a very specific way. Divine Mother shared that with me. And it's going to come about through love. And it will be very specific love that comes as radiance of the heart. And not just, like a little feeling like I love you, or oh no, I have to send you love. It's going to be something that will become so powerful in the hearts of those who have this gift to create a magnetic field around themselves through the radiation of their own hearts. And of course that love has to be completely neutral. It is really only in neutral love, which you will find as the middle path, which you will find in Taoism, you will find in Christianity. It is, let's say, when Uncle Jesus said, when somebody smacks your face, you give them the other cheek. And that's probably not how the quote goes, but the same idea is that there is no enemy. And that the enemy is also in the illusion, just like we would be if we thought that there is an enemy. And so the change will come about when enough children of the divine, of light, will actually grasp this, that there is no way to transmute evil unless we just are like the suns, radiant suns, completely solar radiance from our own hearts, which will be magnetic, and the magnetism of that love will transmute that which we would call evil, and all will become one, but without the extreme, without the the left and the right, without the pendulum. The pendulum will stop. That is the 0 point. It is the point at which the pendulum does not create anymore. And it is also the point of Christ consciousness. So Christ consciousness, meaning all the beings who achieved it, realize that everything that is happening here on the outside is not real. And so that's why beings like Buddha, I love to call him Uncle Jesus, when they went through the stories of temptation, when they were facing temptation, they were sitting, in the meditation, and then they would be presented with what we would call temptation, the naked girls, the power, the demons, the money, who knows what. And they became completely indifferent to it. And that's how this is. Even when facing a demon or whatever it is that is in this world, they knew that it is not real, and that is all just, an appearance. It is just a reflection. It is like in the Play-Doh, where everything is a shadow on the wall. So the shadow on the wall cannot tempt you to react. And it is not about, just sexuality. It's about every reaction. If we have any reaction that says, this is awful, I hate this, I don't like this, we are just telling the shadow on the wall. But the truth is, what we call ascension will come about when enough of us start really understanding this and start loving life as is. This complete neutrality, just like in the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu, whoever he was. It's an amazing code. And there is the best description of, and also in Mexican shamanism, ancient shamanism, it is all about becoming so indifferent, so disengaged, and yet fully loving. And that's the way that this collapses. So it's all about the collapse of the evil in a way, but also the fake goodness, the one that we sought because we didn't like the evil. So the truth is the path in the middle, and the truth is neutral. The truth is Christ consciousness. It is the way, and it is the life. It is the true life. So we need to collapse this system of good and evil. And the way to collapse it is by being completely indifferent in the heart and being just like the sun, taking on the solar radiance in our light bodies and then shining it unconditionally into all that is. And as we shine the love that we are without directing it to someone, this is not about fixing a person. This is about just the state of being. When we can be that, we dissolve this distorted duality. We dissolve that evil, and we dissolve even that which was trying to be good but wasn't really good. So we just create this cleansing on planet Earth. So how do we do that? Divine Mother gave me, several directions, but the easiest one is to think about when you only create from complete love without even thinking about anything else. When your consciousness is just love, you are just like that radiant sun, and you don't cast a shadow, and you don't say, I want to shine on this person, and then I want to shine on this person, and I will not shine on this person. The sun doesn't do that. The sun just shows up and shines. So it's up to us to show up and shine.